You're watching Final Score with Wes Moore on Fox 16.
The Trojans getting out the broomsticks this afternoon. It was a big weekend over at Gary Hogan Field as Little Rock swept Georgia State. And joining us on the Final Score, we got head coach Chris Curry. Coach, congratulations on a sweep. I know this has got to be a big weekend for you, but let's talk about today's game first. You guys were down 2-1 in the bottom of the ninth. How were you guys able to come back and get the win today?
Well, our pitching kept us in the game. It started with Chandler Fidel on Friday. Then we get another good start by Hayden Arnold. And then today we got a great start by Jose Torres. Bullpen kept it tight, and they went up in the ninth, 2-1. Then Riley Pittman leads it off with a double, and James Gann backs it up with another double. Tie game. They bring in their ace, Gaddis, preseason pitcher of the year, and we get a base hit first and third, and we go squeeze to win it. Huge for our program.
Oh, no question about that. And you talk about pitching just a second ago. That's really what impressed me throughout this weekend, like you were talking about a second ago. How big has your pitching been, not just this weekend, but throughout the entire season?
Well, early on we scuffled on the mound, but this week, going back to Oral Roberts, which didn't go our way, but it's still a 3-2 game. And so our pitching and our defense, that's where baseball starts and ends, as you know. And so we've really challenged those guys to tighten up on the defensive side. They answered this weekend. It was huge.
Who has really impressed you so far this season as we near the halfway point?
Chandler Fidel has been our anchor, our left-hander on Friday night. He's gotten us off to a good start every weekend. Ryan Benavidez in the two-hole offensively has been good, and the emergence of Ramon Padilla, our catcher. He's had an injury early, and then he's been doing a great job. Riley Pittman's starting to heat up a little bit, the senior. Christian Reyes has been solid at short. Donovan Buck at the end of the game has been doing a good job closing. How
about Troy Alexander?
Yes.
We've really called his name over the last couple of weeks in the highlights, whether it was in the outfield or at the plate with that home run yesterday.
Well, he saved the game, you're right. He saved the game early. They had a couple runners on. He makes a diving play yesterday. He hits a home run late. TJ is thawing out maybe. He's trying to wake up a little bit at the plate, but has some big hits for us and a lot more to come. You're right.
Now, I know it wasn't really the start that your team and yourself was expecting so far this season, but do you feel like this sweep over Georgia State can signal a turnaround for your team and rally down the stretch? Sure.
I'd like to think that we're starting to figure out who we are and our identity as we get into conference play, which is what matters the most, is how you do in your league. We had a juggernaut of a schedule early on, and we scuffled, and against the teams that we've been playing, one mistake, that'll change the games because they take advantage of you. And so I feel like we're learning, we're maturing, we're figuring out who we are. We had a major injury in the fall in Kel Imshoff, so that domino affected some other positions, and so those guys are starting to settle into their new roles. But great job this weekend by our guys. Hopefully we can look back at this weekend and say that jump started us.
Looking at the struggles from the early part of the season up until now, what are some of the biggest improvements that you've seen out of your ball club?
Well, pitching in the bottom half of the zone, throwing strikes, number one, and then not giving the offense extra outs. 27 outs in a game, we've been given 30, 33 just through errors or misplayed balls or miscommunication, and so just eliminating the chances the other team has, staying out of big innings, keeping the ball in the yard, and that's the biggest thing for me, in my opinion.
Obviously a big game coming up on Tuesday, but before we talk about that game on Tuesday, I want to look ahead to the rest of the Sun Belt season, who you guys have coming up, and what challenges can the rest of the schedule present you guys?
It doesn't get any easier, and Georgia State's a good club. I'll watch them, and they've got pitcher of the year, so they'll get back on track. But we're going to go to UTA this weekend, who's playing really well. And then I think our next three opponents are Monroe, and then Coastal Carolina comes to Little Rock. So I hope all our fans will come out for that weekend, but they're a top 10 team, and the Sun Belt just doesn't get any easier.
No, they're showing that they can be beaten. You saw Arkansas State took 2 of 3 from Coastal Carolina this weekend.
They're human.
Oh, yeah, no question about that. All right, let's actually talk about this game coming up on Tuesday. I think it's something that you and myself have been looking forward to quite a long time. You guys go up to Fayetteville to take on Arkansas. How important is it to finally get this in-state series going against Arkansas?
It's great for the state. It's great for the people that follow baseball, and most importantly, what it is always about is the players. The players on both teams are going to be part of a historic event, and so I'm excited. Coach Van Horn, has been talking about it for a long time. We've both, Coach and I, have coached in other states where they do this a lot, and seen the excitement and the buzz and the fun that it creates. And I think the winners are going to be the fans and the players.
I'll tell you what, I'm really upset that I actually go on vacation on Tuesday, so I can't go up to Fayetteville. Because like I've said before, this needed to happen.
Sure.
I wanted to see in-state games finally happen, whether it's between you and Arkansas or Arkansas against UAPB or whatnot. This is going to be so big for the state, like you said. What is your scouting report on the Razorbacks coming into Tuesday?
Well, you're talking about the national runner-up. I mean, so we're going to have our hands full. They're having another good weekend. The top of their order is as good as any in the country, and then they have undoubtedly the best closer in the country in Cronin. And so the key will be to somehow keep the top of their order off base, and then try to have the lead before Cronin gets on the bump. But, you know, it'd be more about what we do. I'm looking for how we respond in that environment. I'm looking at the way that we attack the game, or are we on our heels a little bit? That's what I'll challenge our club is embrace the moment. You got nothing to lose. It'll be a game that you get to talk about for a while. So let's just get after it, play the game, see what happens.
You talk about pitching, we talk about fielding. What about offense? What have you seen from your guys' bats so far this season?
Well, and until this weekend, you know, our offense has been what's kept us in the game, because all of our games have been competitive. And at the plate, you know, James Gann has emerged. Again, Christian Reyes at the top has been getting on base at a high level. So our offense has been doing a good job. We've been driving the ball out of the yard a little bit. This is really the first weekend where we didn't have a big offensive, other than the 9-1 game on Friday. We didn't have a big offensive weekend, and so it was so important for the pitching to pick us up. But we did run the bases well, and today we won on a short game. And so, you know, I told the guys, hitting is going to come and go, hot and cold. Pitching, defense, that has to be consistent. Your short game, attention to detail and situational hitting and bunting has to be consistent every day.
Hopefully it stays consistent, and I hope you guys have a big second half of the season. Coach, thank you so much, and congratulations on the sweep.
Thank you.
All right, stick around. We'll be back to wrap things up right after this on The Final Score with Wes Moore.